Hello, I am Tunde and my presentation is going to be about controlling in organizations. Now let's see what that entails. So, the presentation involves basic principles of control in organizations. That's what we're talking about, what control in organizations is basically about, and everything that has to do with. Secondly, we'll be talking about the purpose of control. Why is control in place? Why should it be in any organization? Next is steps in control. What are those steps? What are those things that should be done in exercising control in an organization? Next, we have the types of control that management uses in any organization and the tools employed in control. And finally, resistance to control. So, basic principles. What is control all about? When you hear control, when you hear the word control, what comes to your mind is basically manipulations or ways by which things can be done in a certain way. And in any business organization that aims for success, there should be a level of regulation or control which helps to keep all operational activities in check with the aim of achieving the company's set goals. That means that when a company is established, the first thing that should be in place is a set of goals or targets or objectives that should be achieved by the organization. And in order to do this, it can't be in a chaotic manner. It has to be regulated by a certain amount of rules or regulations that ensure that those goals are met properly at the set time and with proper specifications. The definition: control is basically a method through which performance is estimated, influenced, and regulated within an organization. Is one of the most important functions of management. Why control? What is the purpose of control? Why is control important in any organization? It is vital, and it's one of the major reasons why it's more than necessary. Is simply human nature. There is no restriction or control for human nature. This is because most of the time employees in an organization might fall short of expectations or not even be aware of what is expected of them. This is where management steps in with guidelines on how things should be done in an organization. That is, there is no way to really safeguard human nature. There is no way to really put kind of restriction on human nature. People are free to do whatever they like, so there is a need for management to set guidelines or rules which must be followed in order that things may be run efficiently in an organization. Secondly, another reason is for efficiency and productivity. That kind of backs up the explanation of the first point, which is that if there is control, if people or employees in an organization know what they should be doing, when they should be doing it, and how they should be doing it, then there will be efficiency in each sector of the organization, and productivity certainly would increase. Next is legal compliance. Proper control helps an organization to conduct its affairs and transactional activities legally by providing its employees with guidelines. It helps to ensure that the workplace is free of harassment, discrimination, bullying, and any other social vices. If rules and regulations exist in the organization, it is bound to follow legal practices. That is, any malicious acts, any discriminatory acts will be restricted in the workplace, and this helps to build or promote culture in the workplace, therefore enhancing workplace harmony, and the atmosphere is certainly improved to increase efficiency and productivity. So, what are the steps in control? The first step is establishing standards for performance evaluation. The first thing is for a company to know what the standards are. What are the yardsticks that must be reached in order to know that this company is really reaching its goals or reaching the quality set for them in performance. So when the standard is known, then there's something to aspire to. There's something for the company to look forward to achieving. Evaluation of performance. When this backs up the first point in the sense that when the standard is known, then evaluation of the performance of the employees or sectors of the organization is based on that standard. Then determination of performance, then the third one says determining if performance matches set standards. Now, the standards of the company are well defined. The performance can now be evaluated, and then the third point says determine if the performance is matching the standard. That is, the rate of performance or output of each sector of the company is now determined to see if it matches those standards, to see if the company is moving forward or backwards. Then the final step is taking corrective action when necessary. So when the results of that evaluation is seen, then if there needs to be correction, it is done in this stage to see what needs to be taken out or what needs to be added in order to adjust to the standards of the company to enhance maximum productivity and efficiency at all levels. Now, we look at the control types. There are three main control types: the feed-forward control, the concurrent control, and the feedback control. The feed-forward control is mainly a preventive form of control in which it is established usually before the commencement of production. It is set up to foresee and provide solutions to problems that may be encountered in the foreseeable future. It is kind of a preemptive move to foresee and forestall any kind of limitations that may come in the production process or any other operational activity in the company. It is mainly a prophylactic method to sort of provide a safeguard for foreseeable or predicted occurrences in the company. This helps to keep the company prepared, keep them on their toes in order to be able to tackle any future problems that may arise. Then the concurrent control. This is a form of control that works in real time. It is designed to address issues on any level as they arise. This happens on the go. That is, as things happen, this type of control helps to manage situations as they come in real time. So when something happens immediately, this form of control is applied in order to manage those situations as they happen on the go. Feedback control is also known as post-action control. It comes into play after an action or event has taken place and exercises more of a corrective effect. This, if you look at this is kind of the opposite of the feed-forward control. This is, you can see in the name, the feed-forward and feedback. So this basically is, I would say, is likened to damage control. When something happens, what is the response to what has happened? This is when feedback control comes in. When an action or event takes place in an organization, this sort of control helps to normalize or apply a certain reaction to such actions or events that have taken place. Tools. Now, it is important to note that there are certain tools that are used to exercise control by management in any organization, and one of those tools to be examined in this presentation is the balanced scorecard. So what is the balanced scorecard? This is a vital tool used to track and manage strategic operations in an organization. It is used based on the balance between leading and lagging indicators, which basically give information on whether goals are being achieved or if there's a possibility to achieve future goals. So the balanced scorecard, like you see in the name, it's a scorecard. It's mainly used to track, to watch if the goals of the company are being achieved. Like I said in the previous slide about the company knowing its goals, knowing what it stands for, knowing its standards. So once that is established, this tool helps to manage and sort of keep tabs on whether the company is making progress or receding. This indicates that certain goals are to be in place in order for the balanced scorecard to be deemed useful. Such goals may be financial goals, customer goals, process goals, or people or personnel goals. Financial goals, for example, every company requires money to operate, that is capital, and also budgetary needs like income and expenditure. So there is a goal the company has in terms of profits at maybe the end of a fiscal year or quarterly or monthly. So the balance scorecard comes into play in such a way that it helps to monitor the progress of the company in this area. Are we making a profit or are we making a loss? If we're making profits, how do we correct it? If we're making a loss, if we're making profits rather, how do we increase such profits? Or if we're making a loss or running at a loss, how do we correct? How do we adjust to make profits? Next is customer goals. Okay, this simply is focused on the customers. For example, are the customers getting what they should get? What is the feedback from the customers? Are there complaints? Are there concerns on the sides of the customers? And how can we meet these needs? How can we meet the needs of the customers? How can we sort out these complaints? How can we ensure that the customers get their money's worth? So this is basically concerned with the customers. How many, and also things like how many customers can we get in these areas? The more the customers, the more the profits. The process goals. So the process goals simply is involved with the internal workings of the organization. So how can the processes that occur in the organization, how can different systems in the organization run at optimum level? How can we ensure that everything in the organization is running perfectly? So this is more of operational goals, ensuring that each part of the organization works at maximum capacity. And people or personnel goals is mainly concerned with the employees of the organization. That is the employment process, the hiring policies, and various things concerned with the employees in the organization. What kind of people do we want working with us? What level of education do they have? What level of experience should they have? So this is concerned with people or personnel or employees within the organization and what the organization wants in terms of what concerns those individuals. Yeah, a balanced scorecard can be used in three ways. One, to activate or give life to a company's strategy, to communicate the strategy across the organization, and to track strategic performances through monthly, quarterly, and annual reports. This is mainly another function of the balanced scorecard. It helps to sort of bring light to a company's strategy, to a company's plans, to a company's goals, and how they can achieve it, and also keep track of those strategies. Like we've already gone through that already. Monthly, quarterly, and annual reports help to track the progress of the company and see how the company has done, so corrections can be made along the way. This is an example of the balanced scorecard. You can see all the parameters are listed there. You can see the financial, customer, internal process, and organizational capacity. This is talking about how the balanced scorecard influences the financial strategy, customer strategies, internal processing, and everything that concerns the company on different levels. So you see, for example, on the financial aspect of it, you can see something like increasing revenue, increasing profitability, and decreasing operating costs. And everything is interconnected. That's the important thing that should be noted here. Everything is interconnected. So the balanced scorecard kind of brings harmony to all these aspects and helps track everything simultaneously. You can see operating costs indicated, also net profit, revenue in target markets. You can see everything is indicated there in order to keep track of every aspect of the company. Other tools are open book management and total quality management. Open book management is a system in which employees in an organization are granted access to the company's accounts. They are allowed to see and assess the company income and expenditure and given the opportunity to express their opinions and concerns. This is a form of control that promotes transparency between management and their employees in such a way that the employees are allowed to see how the money in the organization is being spent, how policies are being applied, and they are allowed to offer comments or express their concerns or show or give their opinions on what things can be changed or how things can be done better, or anything that comes to mind that is not satisfactory can be aired and addressed. This sort of increases the communication or rapport between the management and the employees of the company. Next is total quality management, which is a control system that is mainly concerned with the individual and overall quality of operational activities within the company. It aims to ensure that every aspect or section of the company operates at maximum capacity. So total quality management is concerned with not just the company as a whole, not looking at the big picture alone. It's concerned with each part of the company working at maximum capacity. So it addresses issues in each sector of the company to ensure that each sector is working at the top level, at 100% quality level. So if it's simple in the sense that if each part of the company produces 100% of quality, then the company as a whole produces 100%. So it's concerned with individual, which leads to overall quality increase in the company. Next is resistance to control. One of the major things to note by management is that when there is change implemented, that when there is a control introduced, there is bound to be resistance on certain levels. Even with the numerous benefits of control in an organization, there will be cases where resistance is posed. Because like we earlier stated, human nature cannot be safeguarded. There are no safeguards to human nature. That is, there is bound to be some certain individuals in the organization that will pose a resistance or not be happy with certain changes in the organization or certain levels of control. They might feel over-controlled, micromanaged, and there may be some level of resistance which would pose a sort of opposition to the growth of the company. And how can this be resolved? There are 3 ways listed here in which those can be addressed or that can be resolved. First is creating effective controls. First of all, if effective control measures have been put in place in the first place, then resistance to control will be limited. That is, management has to really consider the kind of employees that have been working in the organization, the kind of departments that they hold, the kind of managers that have been employed, and apply the proper effective control. This would really go a long way. It's sort of a preemptive kind of a measure to foresee the sort of problems that could arise, and sort of before it happens, those controls serve as a safeguard to really assess and ascertain what could happen and get it under control before it happens. Encourage participation. Next is this really it goes a long way in helping the employees to develop a sense of belonging to the organization, in which they feel involved in decision making, they feel involved in the control process, and this helps them acclimatize to any form of control or change in the organization when they feel they are part of the decision making processes. And next is checks and balances. This not only helps the employees, it helps the management also, that checks and balances in the operation and decision making in the organization are in place to see how every part of the organization, every employee, every manager performs their duties, and sort of balance out the power level, to balance out the exercise of control in the organization. And this goes a long way in promoting workplace harmony and culture in the organization. These are my references. Feel free to check them out, and if you find them useful, use them. They will also be in the link in the description below. Thank you for listening and watching. Goodbye.